You are listening to This is Oklahoma, hosted by Mike Hearn, telling stories of Oklahomans and those that have made it their home.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to an episode of This is Oklahoma. Mike Hearn here, host, back with another episode. Excited to share this episode with you today, but before we do, huge shout out to our sponsors. The Oklahoma Hall of Fame have been sharing Oklahoma's story through its people since 1927. For more information on the Oklahoma Hall of Fame, go to www.oklahomahof.com. And for daily updates, go to oklahomahof on Instagram and give them a follow. Our other sponsor today is the Chickasaw Nation. Now, the Chickasaw Nation have sponsored pretty much everything in Oklahoma. They're a huge supporter of Oklahoma. And it's an honor to have their name and their brand supporting this podcast. A huge shout out to Governor Anatobi for supporting this podcast. It really means a lot. This episode is brought to you by the Doghouse OKC. Recently, I have been in need of some doggy daycare for my two pups, and the Doghouse have come in clutch. The team over there are incredible. They've taken care of my two golden doodles, and so it's been an honor to partner with them on the podcast and share the love. Adding to that is the Doghouse, and so if you're in need of doggy daycare in the day or boarding overnight, they do grooming and other cool things too, but I've had a fantastic experience, and it's an honor and a privilege to share this with you too. So go to thedoghouseokc.com and follow them on Instagram at thedoghouseokc, and hopefully our pups will run into each other.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to episode This is Oklahoma. Mike and Heroes back with another episode with Down Bedford's Camera. Wonderful Bedford's Camera. Return guest on the podcast, which is always a great thing to say. It's been almost, well, not almost 4 years, but will be 4 years this year. Matt, thanks for coming back on the show, mate. I'm excited to dive in.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure.
A lot has changed.
Yeah, a lot has changed. Yeah.
I think 4 years ago, we talked about 80-20. You got acquired. You're traveling a lot more to Vancouver, and that was kind of where direction was going. Building websites, big in tech. Always loved that. But obviously, huge passion for Oklahoma City, and which is cool. People listening, I'll link that below so they can go there and kind of listen to your origin story. But I mean, we caught up a few months ago, did a little event for the commercial real estate agents in Oklahoma City. Just kind of touched back a little bit since then, but you've bought some toys, you've learned to fly, you've got a motorcycle. Catch me up on last 3.5 years.
I think the biggest change has been, I think when I last saw you, I had basically just done the acquisition, and I had gotten acquired by a company in Vancouver called Tiny Capital. In that period of time, a lot had changed in that. Tiny actually went public, which meant 80-20 went public as well. That was a very big change in my life. To be honest, I don't know that I really care for public markets like that, but it also wasn't my choice. But so much changed in the business, and it's cool because you get to be part of this thing, and at that time, I was 25, 26, and to be able to be part of a company going public is really cool and sweet, and not everyone gets the chance to say that. But it came with a lot of stress. We have a full-time accountant now because you have to comply with public markets and things like that. And so, as time went on after that podcast recording, I feel like my stress levels around work went up, and maybe my satisfaction with it went down. And so I actually approached my business partner and to either part ways somehow, even that I buy his shares out and then we go private again, at least 80-20 does, or we find some other path forward. It took a long time. It took 7 months to get the deal done, but I actually ended up buying 80-20 from my business partner, and now I'm the majority owner. And it feels really weird to go full circle like that, to go being acquired and then acquiring back and then back and forth. But honestly, I really love the current state of my life. I could not tell you that in any degree of confidence in the past 5 or before that, because I think it was just really chaotic. I think it was, like I said, you pretty much rise and fall with the stock price. And so there's just a lot of pressure with that. And I don't think it was the best kind of pressure for me. I think there are people that thrive in that circumstance, in that environment, and it just wasn't for me. But yeah, we bought the company back. My COO is now my business partner. She bought in, and then actually my friend Carla actually is a co-owner of the business as well, and she's just helped me a lot over the last 5 years. And so it's awesome. I really have full control over my own journey. I don't have a board anymore. Someone asked me last month, they were like, what's your timeline to get this done? And I was like, well, I don't really have anyone to report to. So I don't know. Whenever. It's all good. It's all gravy. So yeah, man, it's been great. Just in this, I think, current phase, like, it's not without its hiccups still, but like, man, it just feels really good to be like I had so much joy when I had Webster Piece because I was basically, it was just like me that I had to worry about, and I answered to myself. And I think there's something different, and it is good different. I learned so much in Tiny, but it's really nice to kind of just be back to where like I have all this knowledge now, and I get to kind of run the ship however I want, and I get to talk to anyone about anything, things like that,
and make decisions for the long term as well. It's not
Totally.
worried about a board and stock price and like short term, like 90-day type returns.
I think you're spot on. I think that is the kind of crux of being public, is like you are really thinking about the next quarter. I mean, the public perception is always, or not public perception, what you say publicly is you're always thinking about long term, but really you're trying to get short term wins so that next quarter earnings report is good, next quarter earnings reports is good, and yeah, so it's not nice to be able to actually think long term again.
Yeah, and that's a lot of pressure to go through. Not do you know you're already under pressure and doing business at a huge scale, obviously getting acquired and traveling a bunch back, to HQ in Canada and Vancouver, and especially it's like a young adult career in your career, right? Like, you're in your 20s. I mean, that's heavy stuff.
Yeah, and I'm really happy to be free, and I, like, a lot of my friends know this. I don't think I've ever really talked about this publicly, but like me and Tiny were always pretty good, but there were oftentimes middlemen in the process, that investment bankers or whoever that like, or there was a manager of our board that was different than the folks at Tiny and my old business partners, and a lot of those guys rubbed me the wrong way, and I didn't really think they were fit for their roles, and so there was a lot of just like butting heads, and it's really nice to just kind of wake up and like, I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to text anyone back at the board level. I mean, there's one board seat and it's me at this point. So
is it the cliche, like you're the tech, want to run it, you're the way you want to do it, and then you've got like the gilet wearing finance bro, like, hey, I gotta hit numbers.
Totally. It's always like really unrealistic numbers. My big gripe is actually, I don't like it when people who have very little operational experience try to opine on running a business. It's one of my big pet peeves. It's a big pet peeve of mine about VCs that have no operational experience in general. I'm like, what do you actually know? Because you actually don't have to deal with the consequences of your own decisions. I have to deal with the consequences of your decisions, and I'm weighed by the consequences of your decisions. But if there's any success, you get the credit. If there's a loss, I get the credit. And I don't think incentives are very well aligned in that regard. I think I've talked to a lot of folks, and some of them have great boards, and I've not gotten to experience that in my life, but maybe I will in the future.
Yeah. Well, and there's a lot that comes down to like where you want your life to go. Your life goals is where, like the things that make you happy. And when you're weighing those up against a stock price with a bunch of other externals, your like I said, your success is, and everything that happens in this company is basically weighed on you, and they've invested in a bunch of companies. Totally. It's just a number for the most part to that, versus you're like, this is my baby.
Yeah. And also, like, look, I mean, I'll be fair to them too. We were, out of the 6 agencies, we were either the second smallest or the smallest. I think we were the second smallest, and so we could have a very profitable year, and we were like really profitable, but in the grand scheme of total dollars of profit compared to the behemoths in the family, it just doesn't move the needle in a way that really matters to them. And so I think it made a lot of sense for both of us to part ways, and even in that process, I learned a ton about taxes and about we did a bank loan to buy the company back. And so, it's fun to be able to learn all of that so early on.
Yeah.
And
awesome.
I feel like I have a lot of experience to pull from now, which I like, hopefully can, like, I really want to be able to help other entrepreneurs in whatever journey that they're in. And if someone ever finds themselves in that position one day, hopefully I can help them in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. That's a lot to go through, like, before you turn 30 years old.
Yeah, totally.
To have all that. But, to the point, like, Tiny got into, like, consumer brands and a bunch of other stuff, right? Like, buying and...
Yeah, they bought AeroPress. the coffee company, which you'll
Yeah.
see at pretty much every coffee shop in the city here. AeroPress, they've also bought Matina, which is it's like a yerba mate canned drink, which is available at Whole Foods and things like that. And so they bought a lot more consumer brands. The focus has really expanded a lot more. They bought some DJ software recently that's actually referenced in a lot of Jay-Z and Kanye songs.
Really?
Yeah, I forget what it's called, but Serato. That's
Okay.
what it's called. And so the focus has also really expanded from just internet businesses, mainly agencies, to
Yeah.
I think there were 30 companies at the time that I exited. So yeah, definitely a shift.
Yeah. So out of the time that you were at and under the tiny umbrella, I mean, key takeaways, biggest lessons learned.
So like all my life I've been self-employed. Ever since, like, I started my company when I was 17, and then when I was 21 or 22, I sold it to Tiny. And I've never had to manage up in my life, and that was a new experience for me. And learning how to manage up well is really important. Learning how to advocate for yourself. Like, there's just so many soft skills for me personally that I just didn't really know how to do. But I think on top of that, I've learned a lot of, I mean, my takeaways from that are like how to negotiate against very large players, not just in my buy-up, but also like we've landed some pretty large enterprise clients over the last few years. And, to Tiny's credit, they've helped us learn how to navigate kind of like, how do you actually do contracts with a multi-billion-dollar company? What do you accept? What do you not accept? All that sort of stuff. And so, but honestly, my big takeaway is I actually really like being independent more than anything. And I don't think I'd ever, outside of, I love the group that I have now. Joni, my business partner, and Carla, they're just amazing people. I would not be able to run the business, honestly, without them. I wouldn't have been able to keep my head on straight without Carla for the last 5 years. And so, but in the future, I don't think there's definitely pros and cons of partnerships. The thing that I learned in the last few years, in fact, I don't think I had a COO. I guess that was a change at the last time that we spoke. I was running the business entirely solo, and I would always go to my friends that run agencies, and I would be like, yo, why is this so hard? Why?
Yeah.
I don't understand how you guys make it look so easy. And my buddy, I have one of my like top competitors, also one of my close friends, which is actually like really love. Like we're
Yeah.
very open with each other. His name's Mason, and Mason would always tell me, I just like, he's like, I don't know how you do it without like an operational partner. And I was like, nah, that's not it. And I would just always just like put it to the side, put it to the side, put it to the side. And then one day I decided to hire a COO, and man, my life changed. Like I can go on vacations now. I can truly disconnect. It's not all on me. That was also another big learning in this process of like, in the case of Tiny, I had basically an investor, but not an operational partner. And what I really wanted the most was an operational partner. And so having that now, to be able to honestly just commiserate on something is really, really nice. And, Tiny's given me a lot of really good advice over the years. And one of the things Andrew, my old business partner, used to tell me was, he was like, there's always someone that loves what you hate to do. Like, and I hate working in spreadsheets. I hate dealing with numbers. I hate figuring out resourcing, but Joni just loves that stuff. And she doesn't like sales that much. And I like doing sales. I like having relationships and forming relationships and getting on the road and shaking hands with people and things like that. And so we're a really good yin and yang partner. And yeah, I think those are the big takeaways. I would be very careful on how I structure partnerships in the future if I ever do them again. And then also, I think there is really good value in finding really good people. That's the other, I guess, the learning that I have. We have so many great people in the company now. We're 25 now. It's just great. I think having Carla always told me, like, it's a concept from the book Good to Great by I forget who it is, Jim Collins. Having the right people on the bus, or having the right people in the right seats. And like, that's something that I have learned has really, really just made all the difference for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, being around Andrew, your old business partner, who is the behemoth,
Yeah.
right? Like, he is very good at what he does,
Yeah,
and Tiny, and everything that's happened there. You're drinking from the fire hose, right? Like
Totally.
everything's so fast paced and moving, but you're fortunate enough at a young age to be in that position and to learn and just be like, this is gonna, serve me for the rest of my life. Some of these things, good and bad.
Yeah, totally. And like I think drinking from the fire hose is the best way to put it, actually, because it's a big reason why I sold in the first place. Like, it wasn't like a huge exit by any means, but I think one of the reasons I did it initially is that I wanted to learn from someone like him and be in the kind of portfolio of companies that where I could just learn all this stuff at like it felt like a cheat code to just jump the line and kind of absorb all of that knowledge. And that's what I did. And I just love having that sort of kind of group to lean on. And honestly, I still am friends with a lot of people in the Tiny family. I texted my buddy yesterday and I was like, he lives in Spain. He runs a different agency in the group. And I was like, hey, I'm coming to Europe this summer. I was like, we should go somewhere. We should go to Paris or something for a week. And these people are still some of my closest friends.
How has 80/20 changed over the years, or has it changed at all?
Well, it's gotten bigger. Luckily, we're profitable. We're healthy. A big change for my sanity is, and this was a disagreement between how the company was run before and how it is now. We keep a lot of cash in the bank because I'm always scared of a rainy day. That wasn't really allowed before. And
because it was seen as working capital.
Or it could be dividended out to the owners or things like that. And we had very strong, that's probably one of our largest disagreements is how much cash to keep in the business. Because I really care about the team and I don't want to have to lay people off if we hit, my same friend from earlier, Mason, was like, agency businesses are always pretty much 90 days away from having to shut down. And I generally believe that to be true. Yeah. And we are very rare in that we hoard a lot of cash now.
Yeah. And what percentage of total revenue do you keep then?
In the last year, we probably kept 50%.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We had a huge, I mean, to the extent that people are like, yo, dividend it out.
Do something with this.
You know, we've thought about potentially buying companies, but like the thing is, I'm slow to hire. Because I don't really want a huge team. I like knowing everyone really well. I like knowing their partners and like I want to know people beyond their first name. Yeah. So getting massive, like at most we'd ever want probably 50 employees. I think that was like a big change in the last year. Like we just keep so much working capital in the business so that Q4, we had a pretty big slump actually. Q1, Q2, Q3 were great. And then Q4, for some reason, which is normally our busiest season, it was very slow until November and we were worried about it, but we had cash. So we were like, we'll just write it out. Okay. And then in November came and then we signed more deals in November than we ever have in a single month ever. And
budget time.
Right? Literally, it was literally that people had budget to spend. And so I think that was a big change. We really also pushed for something I am obsessed with is hospitality. And I believe that agency businesses are honestly hospitality businesses. Like, and I think of like the Four Seasons, the Ritz-Carlton, 11 Madison Park. One of my favorite books is this book called Unreasonable Hospitality by Will Guidara, which if you've seen The Bear, he's a producer of The Bear. He's in one of the episodes, but basically that whole book is basically about how to make someone feel very special and seen and heard in the time that you have with them. I think a lot of the question I ask at the end of every sales call is like, I'm sure you've worked with a lot of agencies, some good, some terrible. What would make you say at the end of our project, if we worked together, we were the best damn agency you've ever worked with? And that question really offers a lot of insights, and almost all of it comes down to like, they just weren't very communicative. I didn't really feel like they really cared about our business. We felt kind of like a number after a while, and not really like a valued client. Yeah. And so we flew everyone to Mexico last year, and we, I told Joni, I was like, I want people to know what it's like to receive really good hospitality so they know how to give it to our clients. And so we flew everyone to a resort, like a 5-star resort, and everything was taken care of. Everyone was so nice. In fact, we are going to hire someone that we met that worked at that hotel because she demonstrated unreasonable hospitality. I kind of drilled into the team. I was like, I really want everyone to feel this level of hospitality when you interact with them. I want them to feel like you really care. If we make a mistake, we own it, like we fix it. A lot of times we'll go above and beyond of the scope and we won't charge people because I think it's just I think it's goodwill. It doesn't really cost us that much. And man, it has been amazing to see client retention has gone through the roof. And we have gotten multiple messages of clients being like, hey, I actually have more budget. We're going to increase our retainer with you guys because we think that you're the partner for us and things like that. And that's worked for small companies and all the way up to like multi-billion-dollar enterprises. In the last month, I posted on LinkedIn yesterday this thing of like, we had 2 clients message us out of the blue, which is always terrifying. If a client messages you directly and you see it in Slack and you're like, oh no, something went wrong. But the messages were always, I just wanted you to know I love your team. Like, it's so easy to work together. It's so nice. Like, I just have a great time with your team. And these are not initial like interactions. These are months down the road.
Yeah.
Like the team has done such an incredible job at taking this concept of unreasonable hospitality and distributing it to all clients, big and small. Whether or not you pay us $5,000 or whether or not you pay us $300K, like everyone gets incredible service. And so that has been a big change as well. And then honestly for me, like I take more vacations. Not a lot. I get to truly
take vacations now.
exactly. Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Which is kind of the fight of every entrepreneur. You never really get to take time off. Like I'm sure you relate as well. Like anytime that you're away from Oklahoma City, in your case, like it's hard to feel like you're moving the needle in any sort of meaningful way. But luckily, like the team has just run with it. I give so much credit to them because I truly mean it, because they have adopted this principle of hospitality better than I honestly could have ever imagined. And I can log off. My goal this year is by March, I can delete Slack and email off my phone forever. And that there are proper escalation policies in place to where I get brought in if something needs my attention. And so we have we're going back to Mexico next month to do a leadership offsite, and we're planning out a lot of this stuff. And so it just feels like, I believe that with most businesses, a lot of the name of the game is just staying in the game. Just staying in it long enough for you to hit this flywheel effect of like, we finally fit the market. We have a great offering. Our positioning's right. And I feel like we're like truly there in the last like 6 months to where like, we're just seeing everything's up and to the right now. It could change. I don't want to like over pitch it and then like something bad happens, because something bad could happen.
Yeah.
Like I want to be realistic
Right now
about
it's
it.
trending.
Right now it looks great and we're really proud of it. And like, so I think those are the big changes. We also have more leadership now, which is since we last spoke, we're across 10 countries. Employment laws, actually 11. We hired a new person yesterday. And yeah, it's just been great to see the growth in that regard. So I think those are the big changes.
Yeah. I told you before we started recording, I interviewed David Green yesterday, and he for the first time, he got an iPhone. He got a phone 2 years ago.
No way.
2 years ago, he had an iPhone. It was the first time ever.
Oh my God. When does that episode come out to you?
Hopefully in a couple of weeks.
Okay, I can't wait.
Yeah, and so he pulls out his phone, and I listened to. There's a great publication called Voices of Oklahoma. People should go and listen to it. It's amazing, and it was like done before podcasting was a thing.
Oh yeah,
and I listened to David's interview on it, and he did it. It came out. He did it in 2009. And back then, he's like, I don't have a phone. I don't have an iPad. I have this pad. He still has the same pad. He pulls out this little handbook, and it's like half the size of an iPhone. And it's like, he starts opening it up, and he's like, got his grandkids' names in it. It's got restaurants that he goes to, all written out hand, all the cell numbers he needs, like all of this key information that just keeps him functioning.
Whoa.
As far as just like life in general. Right?
Yeah.
And then he pulls out his phone. He's like, I don't even like this thing. And he opens it up, and he puts the phone to the camera. And he goes, look how many apps I have. And he's like, there's stuff on there that I can't delete that I want to get rid of. And he's like, I don't know. I don't need to know what the weather is doing. I don't need to know like set it, all this stuff. He had like Find My iPhone was an app, but he had like messages. He had like 4 apps on it.
Yeah.
And like I said, so my next question was like, okay, what do you track every day?
Yeah.
Right. And he goes, well, I get like the spreadsheet every day.
Yeah.
But I only get the report weekly.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be looking at it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, if a guy can run $1 billion, they'll do $8 billion this year. If he can do that without having, technology for him, his team is different, but for him,
sure.
Right? And I said, why did you finally break and get a phone? He goes, my wife wanted to get a hold of me. Like, that's the only reason I have one. He's 84 years old.
That's crazy.
Right?
Not even have like a flip phone.
Nuts, right?
That's insane.
And so he said before then, the only phone he had was in his vehicle. So he had a car.
Oh, no way. Yeah. A car phone. Yeah. Wow.
So,
I think that is incredible.
Nuts.
I think I would love to go to that way of doing it.
Yeah.
I think it would
So
make
free.
my team's life very hard. Yeah. But I don't know about you. I feel like I'm on my phone way too much.
Oh, it's an addiction. It's a total addiction.
It truly is.
It is. Yeah, it's part of us.
I just deleted Instagram off my phone, and I think I just started this 75 hard is. Yeah. I just started 75 hard a couple weeks ago.
Congrats.
Thanks.
It's brutal.
It is.
When you get to day 50 in the 50s, you will see a massive change.
Yeah.
For everything.
Have you done it?
A few times. Only like the fitness side of it, right?
Yeah.
I usually start my year with it. I didn't do it this year. I did it once through like November and December, and it sucked.
Yeah, to go through Thanksgiving. Yeah.
But the big breakthroughs, and the book is good too. Got the book.
I didn't even know there was.
Yeah, it's just everything. It'll make total sense.
Yeah.
You get to a point where you're like, I am a new human being. After 30 days, you'll start seeing like body changes and stuff, which is pretty normal. But like in the 50s is a huge change. But the biggest changes come from 50 to 75.
Interesting.
And it's because you get to 50 and you're like, I feel good, I look good, I'm on it, like my routine's good, my habits are good, and you still got 3 or 4 weeks left. Left. It compounds.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to hear how that goes.
I'm really interested. I love the way I feel so far. I also just signed up for this thing. This is a total tangent, but this thing called Function Health, which is basically you do 160 basically lab tests. Twice a year.
Yeah.
And it measures basically all your core functions. I went yesterday and they drew 11 vials of blood. They were like, this is the most I've ever seen. Are
you okay with needles?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But they were like, this is a lot of blood. And I just literally on my way here, I got the results. And it's cool because it gives you your biological age versus your actual age. And I'm 10 years younger than my actual.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So I feel really good about that. But I want to a big focus for me this year is my personal health. Like I want that to be a real big priority because for the last 10 years, I just put work first. Right. And don't get me wrong.
And most founders.
Yeah. But I feel like I'm finally in a place where I'm like, maybe I shouldn't do that. And like things, I can take more time away from work than I could ever before. And, I don't want to get to my 30s and my 40s and not have really ever put health as a focus. Yeah. And so that's going to be a big focus for me this year. But part of that to the thing we were just talking about is with 75 hard, I'm trying to remove Instagram I did remove Instagram off my phone. And then I don't think I'm going to log into really the app either, or the desktop app. I need to get rid of Twitter and maybe only keep LinkedIn, but like this year I'd like to spend a lot less time on my phone. It's hard, but I think with the right resources in place, like the person we're hiring from Mexico was our concierge at our offsite, and she's going to be our new assistant. And so she's going to be kind of like pretty much. Yeah. And then just text me if something's urgent. Yeah. And,
my biggest thing is at night. Right, or in the morning and at night, right? So, and I've heard people say, as soon as it comes 9 o'clock, just put your phone away. Yeah. I haven't dove into all the sort of, the energy that's coming off this thing when it's next to your bed. That's not good, but I'm just like.
Do you use a real alarm or do you use an alarm?
I got that.
Yeah, same here. Yeah. I've used this app for since I was in college that makes me answer math questions when I wake up, and it's brutal. And anyone I've ever dated absolutely hates it. It's the most annoying sound, and it basically will continue playing until you finish your math problems.
Pretty complex. Like
you can choose your complexity. Mine's like 5 + 6. It's just like get your brain working, and I love that app. I should probably pay for that app. I just have the ad support. I've had the ad supported version for like 15 probably.
Before we keep diving down the health route, because I want to talk about it, the other thing that David said yesterday was that he's got 2 employees that are retiring this year that have both done 40 years with Hobby Lobby.
Amazing.
Which is amazing. But he also said, back to you being able to step away, he said that they have done 40 years. They leave, nothing changes, right?
Yeah.
He's like, they can leave. He goes, the whole goal here is that so I can leave, anybody in management can leave, and everything is still the same.
Man, what a metric!
Like, how good is that?
Yeah. Like, I mean, that's a dream state for any entrepreneur because you're always. So I have this new client named David Senra, and he has this.
Founders podcast.
Yeah.
Awesome. I just subscribed to his own because he just
way.
I just noticed he was on which podcast I listened. He was on a podcast I just listened to, and then which then led me to he was like, oh, I have my own, and so I went and downloaded his Senra show.
So we did David Senra's new podcast stuff. So we're his agency for that, and I think we actually might do Founders as well. But it's so good. I'm addicted to that podcast. And the new podcast, I think, is even better. It's
because he's now got guests.
Yeah, he's got guests. Yesterday, he interviewed Toby Lutke, from the founder of Shopify, but he's had Michael Dell on, Todd Graves from Raising Cane's, like just so many heavy hitters. But there was this episode with Brad Jacobs, and he was talking about his management team and how he thinks about hiring and firing and things like that. And one of the questions that he asked was like, he basically tries to simulate, if this person walked into my office tomorrow, how much pain would I feel if they told me they were leaving? And that's kind of how he grades his employees on like how important they are to the company and things like that. And it's nice. I went through that exercise and I feel like, I mean, I'd feel it's good that I'm glad that I would feel pain because like I have a lot of the right people in the seats, but it's also bad that I would feel pain because they are not. Yeah, they're like we need some redundancy and things like that. And so, but that's, I mean, truly amazing. A metric of a great business, and it's actually something in tech, which we're not a tech company, we're very tech adjacent.
Yeah.
And in tech, the longevity of an employee is between 1.5 to 2 years.
Okay.
You bounce around basically a lot.
Yeah.
Our average retention right now is north of 4 years. In fact, and that's not a number that is going down. Like we have had very few employees, I think 3 in the last 6 years that have quit. And I feel really proud of that. Like employee retention is almost as important, actually probably more important to me than client retention. A client can go, but I really want our team to feel really good and their roles feel appreciated.
Yeah. So 80/20 agency is mostly in the podcasting space,
actually, surprisingly,
your client list?
Surprisingly not.
Because you got some huge podcasts.
We do have, Human Lab is our big, I went to the Human Lab studio last month.
How is it?
It was so cool. It's such a beautifully designed studio. So I have my client there, who's one of the destination weddings I was telling you about.
A couple $100,000 in the studio.
Minimum.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a gorgeous built out space, in Los Angeles, and it overlooks the Pacific Ocean. And it's just, and they also have so many, just like every snack in there is so healthy. There's tons of, they sent me home with,
just packets of AG1 in the corner.
Literally, I have a year's supply of element packets.
Yeah.
Like hydration packets. But I took my client, he hasn't been on a motorcycle in 9 years, and he really wanted to do a motorcycle trip through California. And so we did that last month, and we stopped at the Human Lab office on the way to Santa Barbara. And it was so cool to see, so fun to see. But yeah, I mean, they're the 3rd largest podcast in the world or something like that. And they've been a long time client of ours and friends of ours. So we do have a lot of heavy hitter podcast clients, but we actually have been doing a lot in fintech with large financial services companies, Pilot.com, which is a big accounting firm, Q2, which is a pubco. And yeah, we're lucky to be diversified. In some ways, you could argue it muddies the story a little because it's not as clear. But I really like working with people like that. They're probably my favorite clients because they have an audience, and I like working on products and websites that have huge reach. It's very personally fulfilling to me. And then we're also able to leverage, a lot of those people know Human Lab, David Center, or whatever, and we're able to leverage that into getting other deals. And so yeah, I mean, we're very lucky to have some amazing clients. And yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. Did you meet Andrew Huberman himself?
I have not yet, actually.
Because he's like an old school skate rock and roll guy.
Yeah, he is. I will meet him at a wedding this summer in Italy. The guy I went motorcycling with is getting married. So
nice.
I think he'll be there. And actually, I think David Center will be there too. So
yeah, I watched Cam Haines, because Andrew Huberman never he's always in a button down, right? He's always
totally
right, and never know. And then Cameron Haines had him out for a podcast, and they always climb this mountain and with this giant ass rock.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
and Huberman takes his shirt off, and he's ripped and tatted up, and everyone's like,
that picture
nobody had any
super viral.
No one had any idea, right? And it's just like, most of these were 20 years ago.
Totally. Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah, that's really cool to have that. I know you said sometimes it muddies the waters, but also it changes it up for the team, and it's refreshing.
It's also interesting because my exercise every year in December is to make a dream clients list, and it's almost never a company. It's a personality. It's a musical artist. It's a podcaster. It's an athlete. And so I just did that exercise last month, and all the people on it are personalities. It's a lot of comedians, but there's a musical artist, and I think it'll be a lot of fun to try to go after them. I have all their email addresses. It's like Tim Robinson, if you know, the comedian, Nate Bargatze, Claro, which is she's an artist, and I'm a big fan of hers. There's a couple others, but I'm really excited for those. I just really like doing those. I think those are just a lot of fun. They don't always really move the needle financially compared to like our larger clients, but they're fun.
Also, back to you running your own business.
Exactly,
now.
exactly.
I want to go.
You're spot on.
Yeah.
I think it is. We can do it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So, like, who am I reporting to? Myself. Joni and I are pretty aligned on the strategy and the play. And like, I mean, like, if it works for us, it works for us, and like, that's all that matters.
What does the pitch look like? So, if you have Nate Bargatze, for example, like, obviously you got his email, you got his contact. Like, how does that start?
Yeah. So,
and is every pitch the same, or is everybody different?
The format of the email is the same.
Yeah.
I always find their personal email address, their Gmail addresses.
Yeah.
And
which is a huge skill to do.
Yeah. And
sometimes it's just their name at Gmail.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of, one thing I've learned, a lot of celebrities are first name at their main domain.com, their business address. Yeah. But sometimes you'll have assistants monitoring that and things like that. I like to get around assistants, agents, because there's so many people in the process.
Oh, they all want their cut too.
Yeah, exactly. And I've had people come up to me and like, yo, can you introduce me to this client of yours? I'm like, I will also be a filter. I'm like, I'm not going to do that. They're my client for a reason. Like, they value that I don't bring them a lot of noise.
Yeah. I wouldn't want them doing it to me if I was in their position.
Yeah, exactly. But I had one come up to me and he was like, hey, can you introduce me to Hassan Minhaj, the comedian? And he was like, I tried emailing him a few years ago, but I got stuck with the agents and I know his agents, and I read the email and they were like, not really an interesting opportunity for Hassan, and they just blocked it. And I'm sure Hassan doesn't even know about it. And so I try to get around that. But the pitch, the way that I do it is I send an email that's basically, the format is, hey, my name is Matt. I think your website could be a lot better, and I rebuilt it already. So like I design it and I develop it. Usually a team member develops it because I'm a terrible developer at this point. We build it out, and then I just send them a link and I say, if you want it, it's yours. I will sign a release. You can have it. You don't even have to pay me for it. Yeah. I would just take pride, and it's true, I would take pride if they just used it. But I always come with a deliverable, because when I met Hassan for the first time, like, so I cold emailed him and I sent him a link to a new website, and I was just like, hey, I think your website could be so much better. Yeah. And here it is. And he responded to me the next day and he was like, man, I really love this. I don't really have any opportunities to work together right now, but like, if there's ever an organic opportunity that comes up in the future, I'll let you know. And a week later, there was an organic opportunity. He was working on a movie that comes out actually in the summer. Wanted to pitch it to Netflix and Amazon and all these other players, but he didn't want to do a pitch deck. He wanted to do a website that he could just give everyone a link to. And so when I did that project with him, I remember he told his right hand, he was like, can we just pay Matt and like just make him whole? Which he's like the one client I've cold emailed in which he's really adamant about making sure that like I'm paid and things like that, which is not always the case.
Yeah.
A lot of people just do it for exposure. Yeah. And I was like, I don't want to be paid. I was like, I want to meet you like backstage at your show in Dallas and like just like get a chance to meet. And so I pushed for that, and then I got it, and we went to dinner that night, and we were in the car, and he was like, honestly, man, I get so many cold emails all the time, and everyone's always like, let's link, let's collab. And Hassan's like, what do you even do? Like, what's your skill set? Like, what do you want to collab on? And he's like, you came with proof of work. And I think that is one of the most important things to be able to have, because you can just show someone your value right away. Yeah. And it's not just like, I'm sure you get inundated with cold emails. I get them all the time too. And I just don't, I archive almost all of them. I don't even respond. But if someone can be like, here's what I could do for you, I will always listen. And those emails have like an 80 to 90% conversion rate. I mean, it's really high if you show someone proof of work. So if I was to email Nate Bargatze or Tim Robinson, which I'll probably do in the next few months, I will put together a deliverable and I'll be like, Shane Gillis is on the list too. Shane's very high on the list. I think I'll probably email him first. If I email Shane, I know Shane's website. I think it's not very good at all. It's a very simple theme. I think he's not capturing information about his audience very well. And basically, I'm just going to rebuild it. I'm going to say, your website could be so much better. Here it is. I like, if there's ever an opportunity to work together, I'd love to find it. Yeah. And
coming with value. Proof of concept already.
I very strongly believe that if you are in a creative field, you have the most ability to showcase your skills to someone in an email. Yeah. And if you're, let's say you're a graphic designer, design a new tour poster or something like that. Mm-hmm. and sent it off. Like, I think there's so many opportunities, and I'm a very big advocate for cold emailing.
Yeah. I mean, it's everyone has an email. It's there, right? Everyone's looking. Like some of the biggest guests I've had have come from sending random emails.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get an automated one and whatever.
Right.
It is, but it's worth doing. And I do this. I have the same list of like dream podcast guests.
Yeah. Have you ever?
It's usually a rolling list.
Have you said yours for the year so far?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. No. It's usually like a constant. Like every year I go through it and I like just re-up it as far as like, okay, this person's on the list, so I get to hopefully cross people off. But yeah, it's a fun thing to do. And now I'm doing like I was always pushing for in person. Now if there's some famous people from Oklahoma, they're all over the world. Sure, I'll do it over Riverside or whatever.
Yeah,
which is the text so much better and the mics and the audio is because before it was suck.
Yep.
Zoom is terrible or Skype or whatever. But yeah, it's like it's a lot. It's I said this to a previous guest. It's convincing yourself that it's worth reaching out, that it's not a waste of time.
Yeah.
It's very easy to be like, oh, they have someone. There's no way they're going to see it.
Yeah.
And then you start going down that rabbit hole and you're like, just like you said earlier, stay in the game.
Yeah.
Send the email.
Yeah.
And set a reminder to keep sending emails.
Yeah, totally.
Like to keep it top of mind because it's very easy to get lost and forget about it. Like, oh, I haven't followed up with that person.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that.
Yeah. I was really bad in the last year about cold emailing, and I did a lot of reflection in December. I'll do a ton of like highs, lows. I have this format that I follow in my notes, and one of my lows for the year was that I didn't cold email anyone, and I think that is such a big part of me and who I am, and the fact that I didn't do it was kind of a loss. But I can correct that this year.
What was your favorite campaign over the last couple of years
in terms of like
agency work?
That's a good question. We did a project for a company called Circle.com, which Circle makes the USDC cryptocurrency.
Okay.
It's a multi-billion-dollar firm. And that was a super fun and very challenging project, but like the teams were really great. Everyone was super great to work with. And I feel like the design and the development and everything that we kind of put together, it feel like it came together really cohesively at the end. There were a lot of hiccups along the way, a lot of challenges. The website has to be translated into multiple languages and stuff like that. But I think that's high on the list. And then I think we built this website for, Tim Burton, the director. We did a website. There was a director that he worked with that was releasing a documentary on Tim Burton about Tim Burton. And it was a really fun project because it had all these stars in it. Johnny Depp, Jenna Ortega, definitely pushed our limits internally in that it was basically Netflix-like. You had payments, authentication, you designed and built the website. It was really interactive. There's a lot of bonus content in there, things like that. But you also have to serve it securely and make sure that the way that it's served can't be downloaded and things like that. There was geo restrictions for certain countries, which is not a normal project, but it was also a lot of fun. But yeah, I would say we've done a lot of really good work. We've done, I think it's north of 500 projects in the last 5 years. So I'm sure I'm forgetting one in the last couple of years. Human Lab was really high on the list. I don't think I had that one at the time that we last spoke. Because that one is there's so much content.
So that was a lot of website.
Ton. Yeah. That was probably one of our longest projects because of how intense, or how we went really deep in the strategy there with another agency and a friend of mine called Double Up, my friend Aiden, and just being able to search that content library in a really scalable way and find I was looking into like nicotine and like the effects of nicotine because I had a client mention that they have started taking it because they heard about it on Huberman or something like that. And I was actually curious the other day, so I was on a walk and I just like went to the site and I typed it in, and it's fun to be able to use your own thing that you guys are
as a search engine.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I would say that's really high on the list as well. But yeah, there were a lot of fun ones.
Yeah. Where do you see opportunity in the industry?
I'm really curious about how you navigate the internet today. Like, do you still use Google to search things? What do you use?
I'm on whatever my iPhone is. And then my Mac is probably Apple. Actually, I have 2 tabs open in Google, and they're always there. And it's the Opus.Pro app is the thing, and then it's the Riverside, because Riverside works better with Google than it does.
Oh, interesting. What's the first one?
Opus.Pro. It's for clips.
Interesting.
Podcast clips.
It's how do you search for things?
I just go to whatever my MacBook is set to. So set to Google. It's just Apple, whatever it is.
An interesting trend that we're seeing, and even Google is doing it now with Google.com, is AI search.
Okay.
Finding and discovering the best thing in a certain category is becoming extremely popular. It's called AEO, answer engine optimization, instead of SEO now, which is search engine optimization. I think it will be, I honestly think, and I don't know, I think it's almost, people ask me all the time how I think the internet's going to change. I'm like,
Who knows?
I couldn't
Yeah.
tell you. I think a trend that we're seeing is that people are still going to websites, of course, but to find information, we're seeing a huge uptick in uh, people using ChatGPT or Perplexity or Gemini or all the other tools to ask, like, what is the best X for this problem?
That makes sense. Yeah.
And there's a huge opportunity to rank highly on that list, because if you don't show up on that list, people probably aren't going to find you. We actually have landed leads this way
from that.
Yeah, people being like, what's the best Webflow agency to work with for this thing? Someone found us, actually locally, found us because they were looking, they Googled, or they went to Perplexity and they typed in, who did David Senner's new website? And it was crazy that they were local.
Yeah.
But
come by the office.
Yeah, exactly.
On.
Yeah. And so I think that's a big opportunity, and it's something that everyone's kind of looking at right now in my space. Just figuring out how you rank higher on that list. I think for us, I mean, you're way ahead of the curve on this, but like video in anything is so important. I think blogs and content and written content are just so dead right now, because the internet is just getting filled with garbage.
You don't have time to look through.
Yeah, I don't want to read. I don't want to read some AI generated article that I know is an AI generated article. I want to learn from people directly. Video is a great form, so we're trying to push more and more clients into doing more video.
As far as just like on the website, like a video.
But then also content marketing in general. We're doing a big push for that this year, and like I'll be posting a lot more video in the future. And I think in my space, AEO is probably the biggest thing that's going to change. I think the way that we interact with websites is going to change dramatically, and I think a lot of people are going to get information about buying decisions from these AI search engines. It's not there yet in mass market adoption, but in the tech ecosystem, it's definitely
there.
But yeah,
that's my day job, real estate, right? Like the profession is, there's a million of us, and most people that I have as clients come from friendships, right?
Yeah,
they don't come from cold calls or referrals or website clicks or whatever.
Yeah,
and I've never focused on it.
I actually think that's the way to go, because I think we're gonna be like, we're in this point in the cycle where it's like people are like, whoa, this information is really cool, but it's gonna get so oversaturated that all we're gonna care about is relationships with people. And I mean, like I told you this probably on the last, I think I almost certainly told you this in the last podcast, but I think the way that you approach it is the best possible way. I mean, if I was to point to one person in Oklahoma that probably knows more people or is a degree of separation away, it's you. And it's because you really care about relationships with people, and like if I don't really know a lot of realtors, but like you would come to mind immediately, and like I would send someone your way if they were looking for a realtor. And so I think relationships are going to be the thing that really matter the most. I want to really build those, because I think that's going to move the needle. People buy from people. People have always bought from people, and they will always buy from people. I think that is an immutable truth.
The tough part is that, it is like for me as well, and I've noticed is, as much as as fun as as much as I enjoy building relationships, you've always got to stay on top of people. Say, because someone always has a family member, and the real estate industry is like, there's so many of us that like 6 people. So it's like that's the hard part. The building relationships, the easy part.
How do you do it?
I'm not good at it.
Neither
I'm just not. Like it's just like I probably have my 20 friends, cool friends I stay in touch with all the time, and everybody else is like a like on Instagram or whatever, which gets lost. So it's like, I know I could do better at it. For sure.
It's funny though. I was thinking about that the other day. Someone liked my Instagram story, and I was like, oh, I haven't talked to that person in a while, and I went and I messaged them. And so I think it's not for nothing. I think it counts for something. I really think that you're spot on in that regard, because I think follow-ups, my old business partner Andrew used to be like, just be top of mind, just send it, even just a casual check-in, happy new year, happy holidays, happy birthday. Great financial advisors do this very well, because I mean, the name of the game for them as well is relationships. And when I used to have a financial advisor, I got a lot of texts, and I was like, oh, I should probably hit him up. I should probably go invest in
Let's talk about your motorcycle trips. You recently went off-roading.
I did.
How was that experience?
Oh my God. Because
you got a bike for a while, right?
I've had a bike, but I've had a off-road bike. I never took it off-road. It's really
Okay.
embarrassing.
But you've had a normal motorcycle. For a
Yeah,
while.
I've had a
Yeah,
normal
yeah.
motorcycle for 6 years.
Yeah.
I've had 3 over the years. 1 got stolen when I moved to the Wheeler district, which is so sad. But I then I bought the same bike again because I just loved it so much. But I just bought on my birthday in November. I bought a like a dual sport bike.
Sick.
And it's just been so. I never took it off road until 2 or 3 weeks ago, and one of my buddies here was like, "Oh, my uncle lives in Heavener, Oklahoma, or
Middle of nowhere,
yeah." And he was like, "You should go ride with him. He'd love to go riding with you. It's all he does. He's retired. Like, it's the way to go." And so I went. I genuinely had. I mean, I've not had that much fun in a activity in that long. Like, I fell into mud. I like got covered. I was soaked. I was in water, and even still, I just felt really happy. And like he took a picture of me, and I was just, even in the helmet, you could just see me smiling ear to ear. And it was right after I ate.
Yeah.
Like it was just so fun. And so, my goal for the year, aside from health and work, is to off-road motorcycle a lot more around the country. I bought an RV a couple months ago. I can't remember if I told you that when I saw you 3 weeks ago, but
trailer RV, right?
Yeah, trailer RV.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I kind of want to just make an adventure out of these things and just like go to Arizona or California or wherever it might be.
Because your bike will fit in the back of the truck.
It'll fit in the back of the truck. It's very sketchy to load it up on a ramp, but like we make it work. And but I think that is so much fun, and I think I love it so much. I love any hobby that's very physical because all of my life is very digital.
Yeah.
And so anything that allows me to stay very present in the moment, and I have to be present in the moment or I'm going to die.
Yeah, riding a motorcycle.
Yeah. Like I can't be on my phone. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can't really be doing anything else. And so it's been a lot of fun, and I have a lot of trips planned this year. I also really want to go overseas. There's a company in Oregon called Ride ADV. I think the URL is rideadv.com, and they do group tours all around the world. Some in Mexico, some in Colombia. There's one in Vietnam that I'm looking at, and I've never been to Vietnam.
There's bikes there. Right?
Yeah. And I'm like, it's a 14-day trip. And it's guided. You have a guide. There's also a support truck that carries like all your stuff, so you don't have to carry anything.
And they ship your bike over there for you.
They have bikes there that you just rent.
Yeah.
And it looks really sweet. Yeah. So I think that's going to be a big focus for me this year. But I'm so hooked. I want more hobbies. I feel like this is also something that I did not focus on in the last 10 years, really, is I want to do more outside of work and be more well-rounded.
Yeah, that's my granddad was a great granddad, loved the bikes. My granddad didn't so much because he was a police officer, and he was like, that's the last thing you should be doing. Because back, and it is the same as this year. You can get your bike license before you get your car license.
Yeah.
He's like, I want a moped. And he's like, no.
Yeah, right.
It's not happening.
Right.
And so it's always kind of piqued my interest. And I always like the Suited Racer on Instagram. I follow him, and like, a bunch of other kind of bike shops. I like, that I haven't been on one yet. So
dude, I mean, I think you'd love it. I think anyone that likes cars, especially as much as you do, also would have enthusiasm for motorcycles because it's a similar mechanic and or just like in the brain, it registers similarly. And ever since I sold my car last, the bike is the only way I have speed now. And so, but maybe I'll fix that in the.
You could buy a lot more bikes for than you
can. Right? You can, yeah, very much so. Yeah, but at the expense of your life.
Right.
There's no airbags in a bike.
I had a friend who bought he's into like the crazy long Harley Davidsons that he put bags on it, and it was like slammed to the floor and all these crazy colors and flares, and he was like big project build, and then out of nowhere he went and bought like a Ducati Panigale, which is like the Porsche of bikes, like type thing, right? Like it's like a race bike. Totally across the spectrum, but he got it during COVID, and because it was during COVID, they didn't build as many as they should have, and so he ended up like making money on it because it was a limited number.
Yeah.
But he never rode it. It was just in his garage on a stand. I'm like, dude, that's the most beautiful thing. How is it to ride? He's like, I put one tank of fuel through it.
I don't know what your philosophy is, but I think that cars and motorcycles are meant to be driven.
Yeah.
I don't believe in the philosophy that like I just keep it to have it.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. Like
You got
give it its patina, put
Yeah.
it through its paces.
It was so nice that I sold his house and we were trying to convince his wife to let us stage it in the house.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because they had like a dining room that they converted to a kids' playroom.
Cool.
And then for the photo shoot, we took all the kids' playroom out. It was just a bare room. I'm
Yeah.
like, put the bike in the corner.
Yeah,
It'll look
that's
sick.
cool. Yeah.
And she was like, it's not going. Like, come on. Just once for a photo. But he ended up selling it and bought a, I think he bought another bike. He got
Yeah.
back into Harley Davidson game.
Yeah.
But I need to, one of many things I want to do, but the same thing with you is just like more hobbies and
Yeah.
get into it. And it's something about the outdoors and being away from podcast setup or a computer to edit or whatever. It's just fresh air in the outdoors and no distractions.
That's why I bought the RV. Like I went to Yellowstone and the Grand Tetons with my girlfriend in October. We had such a good time. And it was the first time I've ever been to a national park in my entire life.
And I haven't done that yet.
Oh, dude, you got to get on it. I'm telling you, it'll change. It'll change.
Yellowstone, and that's it. And actually, I watched the David, is it Eric Bana's TV show? Eric Bana has a Netflix show about that he's a cop or something in one of the big national parks.
Yeah. Dude, it was, I mean, there was nothing like it. And I had so much fun. And I was just like, I need to be outside.
Yeah.
This
it feels
like
so insignificant out there, too. It's so vast.
Yeah, exactly. So literally a month later, I bought the RV. I was just like, this will force me to be outside more.
Didn't you were working on some self-driving stuff?
Yeah. So I installed it for that trip. And so I bought this thing called a Comma. They make the Comma 4 now, but it literally mounts on your windshield. It's the size of a dash cam now.
Yeah.
And it plugs into your OBD2 port and it hijacks your lane centering technology and your adaptive cruise control. Yeah. And I used it on the way here. And you just hit your cruise control button and it drives for you in a car that doesn't really support self-driving, which is crazy. Yeah.
I went to San Francisco earlier this year and I saw these Waymos driving everywhere.
Oh, man.
And I'm just like, I don't know about that.
Dude, but you take one.
But I mean, driving around them was okay. Like they were great on the road.
Yeah.
But in one, I'm like, must be so weird.
I think you should try it. It is a magical experience. Yeah. I think it's akin to me. Like, I feel like everyone remembers like maybe the first time that they experienced the internet or some sort of revolutionary technology. I remember the first time I used ChatGPT. Waymo was one of them where I'm like, wow, I can't believe how good this is. And you just get really, really comfortable with it. And you honestly don't even think about it after a while. And it's crazy because I'm like, wow, there's not anyone else.
We went to dinner and I was driving around and we had a rental car and I was just like, there's these things everywhere. They're like normal, interactive,
totally.
And obviously you see the videos of them doing dumb stuff, which that's fine.
Yeah.
When you have that many products, something's going to go wrong. But yeah, it's just mad.
Totally.
Dude, we could sit here forever. I know we could tell stories and share some things, but finishing up big predictions or big goals for 26.
For 2026, on the work side of things, we're trying to double revenue this year.
Okay. Big goals.
Yeah, huge goals. I think we can do it. And I think the way that we're going to do it is content marketing. I think it's video. I like very much so believe in video. I also am trying to spend more time building relationships like just all over the US. And so my big focus is actually I'm just going to get on, like if someone wants to meet, I'm just going to get on a plane and go to them, even if it's for a day. Yeah. And so I think that's going to be the way that we do it. And achieve a healthy margin on that revenue that we gain. I think, like I said, personally, health is such a big focus for me this year. I want to really double down on that and just be as fit as I can be. And which is why I started 75 Hard. Yeah. And I think that will be really fruitful for me. I think I'll see a lot of long-term gains. I just don't want to be on my deathbody being like...
Yeah, and like 75 Hard is like the catalyst.
Totally,
gets you to a point where you're like, I feel good, and then now it's like then it's up to you to keep those happening.
Totally. Yeah. And I think it's just been really great so far in that regard. And so I want to and even more granularly, I want to monitor my labs and supplement anything that I'm missing and things like that. Hobbies wise, I want to do the motorcycling course. One of my soft goals is that two of them, I want to start Spanish classes.
Okay.
I would love to be bilingual. I think it's so cool when people are bilingual. And I think Spanish is one of the most helpful languages functionally for the US.
Across the world.
Yeah, across the world too. Yeah, of course. And so I think that'll be fun. We also have a huge contingency, a large percentage of folks on our team speak Spanish. And I really want to be able to, like, it's funny, I'll come to a meeting and if I'm late, the rest of them will be talking in Spanish, and then I show up and they switch to English. And I'm like, no, I want to be in it.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be able to understand. And so that's a big one. In terms of mental health, I really want to meditate daily.
Yeah.
Which is a goal I've had for years, but like I just never do it. I think I can focus on it this year. I'm starting way smaller than I did before. I'm just going to do 5 minutes a day.
5 minutes a day.
Yeah. And then, and I just want to, this year I want to have more fun outside of work. I have a lot of fun inside of work, but like I want to have a really well-rounded life and a life well-lived. And so there's a great book that I've been reading called Die with Zero. Oh, we talked about this. We talked about this. Yeah. We talked about this when I saw you last.
Yeah.
And I really just want to double down on that philosophy and like experiences are all that matters. And I want to have way more of those.
Yeah.
So
great book.
But yeah.
Yeah, that book is, I gave it to a friend the other day. I'm like, this is going to cost you some money, but it'll be worth it.
It will cost
He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, you're going to buy something because of this book?
Yeah.
Because he was like, every time I get the itch to like buy something, I just buy stocks.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good thing, but like, do something for yourself.
Yeah, totally.
Dude, awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, man.
You.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hopefully it's, we'll have a great conversation 3 or 4 years from now on the podcast.
Yeah, totally.
You know, see how things have grown and business has doubled and tripled and grown massively. But since then,
I hope that's the case. But yeah, man, thank you so much for having me. It's been great. I love catching up with you as always. So.
Awesome. People listening, I'll put Matt's Instagram down below. Not that he'll be updating anytime soon, but I will put 80/20's Instagram and website down as well. And you'll probably see some content coming there. And we'll catch you next episode. Cheers.
See ya.
Hope you guys enjoyed that great episode. Thank you so much for listening. As always, huge shout out to our sponsors, the Oklahoma Hall of Fame, sharing Oklahoma story through its people since 1927. For more information on the Oklahoma Hall of Fame, go to www.oklahomahof.com and follow them on Instagram for daily updates at OklahomaHOF. Our other sponsor, the Chickasaw Nation, amazing sponsor. They do amazing things for the state, and they're always sponsoring something in Oklahoma. They're a huge supporter of Oklahoma, and without their support, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. This episode is brought to you by the Doghouse OKC. Recently, I have been in need of some doggy daycare for my 2 pups, and the Doghouse have come in clutch. The team over there are incredible. They've taken care of my 2 golden doodles, and so it's been an honor to partner with them on the podcast and share the love. And adding to that is the Doghouse. And so if you're in need of doggy daycare in the day or boarding overnight, they do grooming and other cool things too, but I've had a fantastic experience, and it's an honor and a privilege to share this with you too. So go to thedoghouseokc.com and follow them on Instagram at thedoghouseokc, and hopefully our pups will run into each other.
Thank you for listening. We are inspired by those around us and hope that you are too. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast on your favorite podcast platform and leave us a review so we can keep telling your stories. For more great Oklahoma content, follow This Is Oklahoma on Facebook and Instagram.